Hi guys, welcome to another video. There are 6 bags at Louis Vuitton that are not worth the price tag. They are not worth the money. Now, who am I to tell anybody what they should or shouldn't be buying? But in my opinion, stay away from these ones. They're just too expensive. They are not worth the money. There are far better options. Which are they? You know I love Louis Vuitton, but there's much better options. So let's get cracking. And wait till later, I'm going to tell you that only one of these that I would be slightly tempted with. Let's get going. So let's start with one that might shock you. It is the Speedy, and I love a Speedy, you know I love a Speedy, but it's the Pharrell Williams Speedy in leather. Now the pre-orders have been and gone for this, and I was offered one of the first chances to put my name down on the pre-order for this a few weeks ago, and no, I just turned it down. I turned it down. Why? I love the Speedy. I love monogram, and the fact that Pharrell Williams has come out with an amazing collection. So what's wrong? What on earth am I thinking of? Why do I not want to jump on this? It's a part of Louis Vuitton's heritage, the monogram, but in the colours. I'll put some pictures up here. They're absolutely beautiful. The leather is supposed to be buttery soft and gorgeous. And the fact that they've got a colourful monogram in leather rather than canvas. I was so excited. I was so excited when I saw the fashion show. And then I saw the lookbook. And then I saw the prices. And it is just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. In my mind, for a leather Speedy, the on-front leather Speedy is around about 2,000, something like that, maybe 2,200 for some of them. These are nearly £7,000. Yes, you heard me right. Nearly £7,000 for a 25 size Speedy. Now, it's the collector's piece, it's a limited edition, it will be amazing. I really, really, really like it, but it's not worth the money. It just isn't. It just isn't. The 25 is £6,850, and then I think it goes to the size 40, which is actually quite a big bag, isn't it? And I think that's £8,000. And then the even bigger one, which is a 50, is £9,150. Now, I might be eating my words with this. I might be eating my words where, people collect them and then they're worth a fortune. And actually, maybe I should have invested. But as I've said before, I never buy a bag in order to sell it. So it isn't a matter of, I'll get it and see if I can flip it and, make a lot of money on it. So, for me, it has to be worth it. It has to be something that I hope will be in my collection forever. And as we know, sometimes it doesn't happen like that. But no, for me, there are other alternatives. They're the on-front leather versions that are, a third of the price. It doesn't make any sense, does it? And I know it's different leathers, and I know it's collector's piece and all the rest of it. But it's such a lot of money. So for me, it's it's not worth it. I understand there are some other Speedies coming out, which are the colourful ones, and they're in the damier print rather than the monogram. And these are going to be in canvas. So maybe these are more up my street. We will see, won't we? But if they are in the region of, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 for a canvas Speedy, then I won't be getting that either. I know they're going to be more than the normal canvas, of course they are. But at this moment in time, Pharrell Williams, they're just too expensive. Just too expensive. The second bag, Louis Vuitton bag, that I do not think is worth your money, it's the twist. And I'm really sorry, I know a lot of people like the twist. It's not as expensive as the ones we've just been talking about. They're sort of in the region of 3,000, 3,500, maybe up to sort of going up towards 4. But for this bag, I just think it's not worth it. There are so many other bags in Louis Vuitton that are, in my opinion, in my opinion, so much nicer than the twist, and therefore if I had 3,000-4,000 to spend on a Louis Vuitton piece, it certainly wouldn't be a twist. I think the croissant is so much nicer. I know it's completely different, but I think that's the point. The twist, I do like the look. I like the twist look. I think that's really cool. But the boxiness of it and the chain that just keeps going round, I don't know. It's never ever tempted me. So just in total, just in general, I just don't think it's worth it. I think it's just okay. And it needs to be more than okay for that amount of money. So that is number 2. Not worth the money. And the third bag from Louis Vuitton that is not worth the money, might be controversial here, it's the Go 14. I was so excited to see this bag, because as soon as I saw the quilting, the styling, I know it's a little bit like the twist, but it's like a much, much, much nicer version than the twist for me. So yeah, I know what you're thinking, but I really like this version, and I was so excited when I knew this was coming out. And then again, I saw the price and I just thought, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's just crazy. But I did get my hands on it when I went to London recently, and I have to say it is very, very beautiful. I'm not denying it. It is a beautifully made bag. It feels quality. It feels amazing. I tried on the one in navy, of course I did. It was just beautiful. But when I compared it to the Alma in the Malatage range, I couldn't really see or justify why there was such a massive difference in price. And I know one is a completely different style to the other, and the other's just an Alma. I just love the Alma, and I really, really did. I tried it on in the navy. I also like this ombre one, absolutely stunning. And there was also, Amelia really liked this one in black and white, it was beautiful. So those ones, I can, completely get on board with them. They're very expensive for an Alma, but they're in the region of around 3,000, 3,200, whereas the Go 14, even in the size, which is like the middle size, is 5,000. I think they're 5,750 for some of them, and 5,250, I think, or 5,350 for some of them. When I compared the two, I honestly couldn't understand why the Go 14 was so much more expensive than the Alma. And I know one is a new design, was sort of based on the twist, and it's based on the, I don't know, the Malatage version that was in 2014, I think. So it's not completely new, but it is a newer design. And then you compare it to an Alma, and because the Alma are generally in canvas and they're one of the entry point types of bags, people always go, oh no, I'm not paying that for an Alma. But for me, the craftsmanship that went into both of them, I couldn't quite understand why there was such a big, big difference in price. Now, James, my SA from New Bond Street, he did say to me that if you went to the workshop, you would see and you would understand. And please, James, take me to the workshop. I would love to go and see for myself. But I know what he means, that if I'd have gone and seen, like he has seen the process and he's seen what goes into making each and every bag of the Go 14, he said I would absolutely get it. And I probably would. But yeah, as a consumer, as a customer, when you're just looking side by side, I would go for the Alma all day long. So whether there's a PM or whether there's a BB coming, we'll wait and see. But for now, the Go 14, no. And if you want the even bigger size, the GM, that's even more expensive. I think that was up to sort of 7,000. And it's just, no, it's just too much. It's just too much. So the next bag that I want to, not attack, but I want to I just don't get it. For me, it's just not worth the money. It's the Doofen. I think it's called the Doofen bag. And I've talked about this one in videos before. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I think it's very, very average. I'm so sorry if anybody loves the Doofen. I think it's really average. I think it's okay. There's nothing special about it. It's just a bag that doesn't have anything in particular that stands out to me. It's not edgy. It's not particularly, I don't know, innovative in any way, but it's also, it's not even that classic. I don't know. I really don't know. The canvas versions of these for me are absolute no. I really, really don't like them. And I've figured out why, and it's because it's trimmed with like a brown leather rather than a black leather or the vachetta leather. It's trimmed with brown. I don't like brown. We've worked this out. I don't like brown. I like greys and blacks, and navies and burgundies and forest greens. I love every blue pretty much in the spectrum. I don't like brown. So it makes it look very dated. Again, I'm really sorry. It makes it look very dated in my opinion. So I'm not keen on the canvas at all in the Doofen. And then when you look at the leather ones, there's some epi leather ones, and I would be interested in something in epi leather that's a really nice sort of crossbody bag. But again, these are so expensive for what they are. They're upwards of 3,000, and yeah, for £1,400 you can get the navy epi leather Alma BB. To me, absolute no-brainer. But that's just me. That is just me. I'm not a fan of the Doofen. I don't think I'll ever change my mind on that one. Famous last words. Okay, next on my hit list is the Mahina leather. Now, I love the Mahina leather. Do not get this wrong. Don't get this wrong. I love it. And I've been looking at something in the Mahina leather for a long time. When I was looking for a tote bag and working out which I thought was the best tote bag, I've looked at the Carmel bag so many times. I've tried it on so many times, and it feels gorgeous. And it's the leather is beautiful. The braided handle, the hobo style. I really, really like it. So what stopped me? It's so expensive for what it is. Honestly, it's so expensive. You're talking 3,400 and upwards, depending on which one you go for. This is in the Carmel size style. There's also, I think there's one called Bella and there's one called Blossom. And I think the Blossom one, I hope I've got this right, I think that is like the Neverfull version. So it's like a Neverfull, but in the Mahina leather. And it's beautiful, but it's so expensive. For me, just go for the canvas version. Just go for that if you're going for a Neverfull. But yeah, there's also, was it the Bella, which was a little sort of a soft bucket bag. And again, it feels beautiful. The leather does feel amazing. And I have heard from several sources, that this leather is actually very, very delicate. And obviously it's got the perforations in it. Yeah, you have to be very, very careful with it. It's very fine. It feels very thin leather. And much as it feels beautiful, I have no idea how it would hold up. And there's definitely something stopping me with it. So for me, too delicate for the style of bags that it's coming out in. And yeah, just too expensive. So for me, they're just not worth the money. They're just not worth it. So which of those do I think I could be tempted with in the future? Well, before I tell you that, I'm just going to tell you the last bag on my hit list. And it is the Capucines. And you might be surprised at this. And let me just grab. This is my absolute, you know guys, if you've watched any of my videos, this is my absolute pride and joy. If this isn't my favourite bag in my collection, it's definitely up there. I adore this. So this obviously is the mini Capucines in the ostrich leather, in the beautiful purple, which I think was called amethyst. Anyway, I am not bashing the Capucines because I adore it. And I honestly, would I get another Capucines? Of course. Of course I will. So why am I saying the Capucines is not worth the money? Well, what I mean by it is that certain ones are not worth the money. The now we've talked about the I had an and it was in the Gallet colour with the python handle, and I didn't love it. The size is too big, too heavy, too bulky. It is so expensive. Obviously there's more leather, there's more of everything in it, so it's more expensive than the minis and the BBs. And yeah, no, it's not worth it. I'd much rather have the smaller ones. So that size completely and utterly is not worth the money. And then when I came to try and sell it, because I realised it wasn't a forever piece for me, I couldn't sell it. I had an absolute disaster and it absolutely bombed. So if you're thinking of value for money, for resale value, the Capucines, absolutely not. So in all directions, for me, the size of the Capucines is not worth the money. And also, just on top of that, I also think that some of the more, shall we call them, plain versions of the Capucines are also very, very expensive for what they are. So for a little bit more compared to one of the just a Tyrolean leather that has no embellishment, nothing on it, you could have one that's an exotic. And I know it's a little bit of a jump in price, but for what you're getting, something completely rare that you will hardly ever see anywhere else, and something so special. Now, I know exotics are not for everybody, I know that, but there are so many Capucines out there that bring out so many every year, and there's some amazing designs. So some are really embellished, some can be embroidered, some have, I don't know, mother of pearl, some have different handles. Amelia's got a whole range of ones that have got all different attributes to them. Some have the different embellishments here, some have a chain that's different, some have, as I say, more acrylic or enamel. There's a whole host of things that you can actually find in the Capucines. So for me, just pay that little bit extra and get one that's actually really special and unusual. So don't go for I mean, I am the neutrals queen, aren't I? And I'm telling you not to go for a boring one, but I think the Capucines really suits something a little bit different. So for me, any of the Capucines that are just the Tyrolean leather and have no embellishments, they are so expensive for what they are, and I just don't think they're worth it. So pay a little bit more and get something really, really special. So guys, which out of those 6 would I be tempted with? So I've already put them all on my hit list, and I've told you none of them are worth the money, but there is one that's a sort of cheat, but there is one that I really, really love, and I could be very, very tempted, and it's actually a Capucines. And it's got something about it, but not very much. So I'm sort of eating my own words, even in the same video, because have a look at this one. I tried this one on when I went to London, and oh my goodness, it's very beautiful. It's very plain. It just has the Tyrolean leather, but it's got the flower crown just across the top. So it's got a little bit of detail. It's not very massively unusual or embellished or colourful or anything like that, but that is the only one that I would say, out of the ones I've talked about being a little bit too normal, that I would go for. It was very beautiful. It was simple and elegant, and yeah, so I'm sort of eating my own words, because yeah, I've said go for something out there with the Capucines, and actually, yeah, I'm sticking with black with a little bit of gold. But anyway, I'm allowed to change my mind. I'm allowed to be contrary, aren't I? It's my channel after all. So yeah, let me know, guys, which bags you think are not worth the money from Louis Vuitton. Do you agree with all of mine? Do you think there's any that I've missed that you think are absolutely not worth it? Let me know what you guys think. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on another one.